We know that when our prospective clients know, like, and trust us, they're more likely to hire us. So how do we increase likability, right? How do we have them trust and like us more? Well, here are 3 tips to think about. Number 1 is prospective clients often don't hire people on a regular basis. Something has come up in their personal lives or at their business, and they're in a situation where they need to go through a process of hiring someone to solve their problem. But it's not something they do every day. And so they don't necessarily know all the questions to ask. So when you're in a conversation with a prospective client, it can be really helpful to take a moment and acknowledge that they don't make this type of decision every day. You can, of course, ask, say, how often do you make these kinds of decisions? And that's a great question for qualifying as well. But you can also say, I understand this isn't something you do every day, and I'd like to present some questions to discuss to help us figure out together what you might need, right? So coming up with some sort of phrase that lets them know that you know that this isn't something they do every day, and that they don't necessarily have to have the answers, but that you can help them find them. The second tip is to acknowledge that this is a big decision for them. If they're at a company and they're spending company funds, or even if it's personal decision, in making that financial investment, there can feel a lot of pressure. So I think taking a moment and acknowledging that, say, I understand this is a big decision. I understand this is a big investment. I want to make sure that you know that I know that, and that whatever you need to make this the right decision, I can do that for you. So all of a sudden they feel like, wow, now I understand this person knows that this isn't something I do every day. I don't feel like I have to know everything. And wow, this person understands that this is important to me, that I'm not sleeping at night because I feel like this is such a big decision. And with that acknowledgement, they feel like they can trust you more, and they feel like they think, oh my gosh, this person really understands my position. And the fact is, in a sales conversation, in a sales relationship, the number one thing that you can do for yourself is to make sure that you're listening and understanding your prospects, so that when you're providing solutions and leading the sales conversation, the sales process, they know you know where they stand. The third tip is to acknowledge that they don't necessarily know how much this costs and what the ultimate value and outcome is going to be. So 2 ideas there, certainly making sure that they understand what the outcome is going to be, and then also acknowledging perhaps for them that, I understand, the general concept of, general scope of what you want to accomplish is this. Fees tend to run this number to this number, and we tend to be somewhere in here. And you might want to add some context around why that is the range. You might be able to comment on time invested. You might be able to comment on materials required. You might want to comment on some of these, helping them understand, like, why is it costing that? To give them some rationale for why these fees are what they are. So these are 3 things that you might really want to consider addressing in your sales conversation, so that your prospective client feels like, okay, this person understands the challenge that I'm facing in making this decision. And when you do that, they're going to trust you more, and then as a result, they're going to be more likely to hire you. I'd love to hear your comments below, always, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.